It's tabletop time! I'm Dave.
I'm Elle.
I'm Murray.
I'm Jen.
I'm Jazza, and we are here for the first episode, finally, of LUCEVERA, which is proudly brought to you by our patrons who make this possible. You will see in the course of this grand adventure that is going to follow a whole world you can enjoy that we are putting everything into, and you will even see this episode art that we've created. You've already seen that gorgeous introduction that we've animated thanks to Alicia's help. We're putting so much into this, and it's all thanks to our patrons, and it is only possible because of your support. So if you find yourself enchanted by our story, please consider backing us on Patreon. It makes a huge difference, and you get great access to our work in progress game dev and all sorts of fun behind the scenes goodies and our weekly after parties after our streams, but most of all, our undying gratitude.
Beautiful.
And for the first time ever, our campaign has companion miniatures, which are available on tabletop.com. Wow. We have these awesome Renaissance miniatures, which are sculpted by Fleshcraft Studio. They are super duper cool. We've got them in different bundles. So if you're just interested in the loyal attendants of LUCEVERA, for example, you can grab them. We got Doggercorns. We got it all. So these are some really great minis that we'll be seeing as the campaign progresses. We'll be seeing and encountering some of these crazy creatures, Vitruvian men, weird cherubs, strange homunculuses.
Ooh, bit of a vibe for stuff to come.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a spoiler.
Secrets.
And grabbing these minis is a big support to the channel where you can get something to use for your own campaigns, because we'll be doing stat blocks and stuff for them. For Gateway Roleplay, which is the system we're developing and has just had alpha released for Patreons. And that's what we're going to be playing
Working
with.
on it every week.
Yep.
You'll see regular updates and you'll see us play it in this story. Yeah. It shouldn't get in the way of the story. You'll easily be able to follow along like it's a lovely audio book or audio drama. But this is played on a system with rules that we're looking forward to sharing with you.
So, speaking of, I'm sure you're all excited to hear about playing LUCEVERA. If you are coming here and you were like, whoa, I need to know a bit about this world before I dive into it, there's a whole episode. So go check out the world introduction. It's on the channel.
Including our characters. We're just going to jump into it.
That's it.
But if you're wondering who we are, where we're from, and how we all came together in this episode, go check that out. But we are going to launch into a story.
Right now.
Let's do it.
Okay.
The music starts.
Our campaign...
I'm sorry.
Straight into spaghetti.
What is
That's the name of the song for everyone.
Spaghetti, not even once.
Our campaign opens in the city of Allegrano, the capital city of the Kingdom of LUCEVERA. It is a bright and beautiful day, as many are in this beautiful country, with a climate quite similar to those in the southern Mediterranean on Earth. This is not Earth. It's a fantasy world. We will pick up our story in the Guild Ward, a district of the city of Allegrano, where Bianca d'Aquila, is that correctly spoken, is patrolling the streets and has just been met with a long-time companion and a fellow member of the Cavaliers of the Crown. Bianca, Elle, would you like to introduce your character, describe what you're wearing, what your vibe is as you walk through the streets? You're currently heading towards Fair Market, which is at the southern entrance to the city, and you're finishing up a patrol and heading to the Guild Hall. And Cosimo has bumped into you on this patrol. He's run up to you, basically.
Okay. So I play Bianca d'Aquila. She is a royal cavalier to the crown, and her outfit very much represents that. She has like these lovely puffy sleeves and a very fancy hat with a lovely multicolored feather. She also has a side sword in her, kind of tucked into a tabard on her belt. And she strides with purpose throughout the streets. Very kind of proud posture, I guess you would say. Yes. Looking down her nose a little bit.
So, as I mentioned, Cosimo has run up to meet you upon seeing you in these streets. He wears a similar outfit and he waves his hat, grinning ear to ear as he sees you and sort of strides over to you purposefully and proudfully.
Cosimo, A delight.
Bianca! Good to see you!
You best keep your hat on. It's unsightly to take it off.
Oh, well, it's hot. And he fans himself a few times. You need to stress less. So, I heard it's your big day.
Yes, I'm on my way.
Yes, your first real assignment before. And he fans the side capes hanging off the side of his tabard that denote the rank that he has recently earned above Bianca. And he sort of friendly says, your final assignment before you can reach the ranks of the prestigious. And he says with a smile, clearly tongue-in-cheek, like he's poking fun at his own sort of position.
Bianca's eyes have kind of like narrowed on the like capes. She's like, yes, well, I hope to do it, in a fast fashion. No hiccups, no trouble.
Bianca, you, no hiccups, no trouble.
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
Watch any of my assignments and you'll see.
Come, friend. I heard there's some fun to see in the fair market.
Oh, that way?
And he sort of like hops off almost at a double pace to what is a comfortable slow walk.
Walk behind him, not wanting to be right next to him.
As you march down towards Fair Market, you can sort of sense a little bit of a vibe shift to the usual. Can I get you to make perhaps a little bit of an intuition check?
So good at that.
Yeah.
Just intuition.
Yeah, unless you want to pair, maybe you could pair your reflexes if you're using your sort of ears.
Could I
and
do it
hearing.
with my acuity?
You can, but then I'm going to make you pair it with wisdom.
Okay.
Because that's where the that's where the intuition was coming from. Challenge level 2.
Do you want to change the dice?
Yeah.
Okay. That is a 2. Oh.
Punch it into the mic a little bit. Yeah, cool. All right.
That is a 2.
So, 2 successes. As you walk into this area, which is known as Fair Market, you've heard some less savory names for it, but you wouldn't let that sit on you.
The unfair market.
You basically look around. This is the market where people first approach the capital of Alegrano. And Alegrano is known for its brand new sort of gold rush of innovation where the gates, it seems, towards engineering and alchemy and science are finally been shattered, and all of this progress is happening, and it's been happening in the last sort of 5 years. And it's turned the Kingdom of LUCEVERA into a very exciting and popular and wealthy country. But Alegrano is like the hotspot of that. It's the seat of the king. And this is the first place people come into town and get that vibe. It's where a lot of peddlers and merchants sell sort of trinkets that you would know kind of are masquerading as artifice or engineering. They're really just crap to sell tourists and make money. And you also know that no one really shops here that actually lives in Alegrano, except for there's a few food merchants and things. But you wouldn't go there and buy your engineering stuff from here. But as you approach part of the street, the vibe is a vibe of anticipation and excitement. As you see, there's quite a crowd gathered right near to the fountain at the very entrance to the city. You can hear loud voices hustling and bustling and shouting over the top of the crowd. The kind of thing that would draw the attention of a cavalier.
All right, let's check this out.
So do you head towards the group?
I will.
Can I get you to make an authority check? And
Move out of the
I'm going to
way.
say any physical trait that you'd like to pair it with.
Okay.
You can either weave with your finesse.
I think I'd do it with deft of hand. Yeah, I'd weave with finesse.
Cool. As you sort of carrying yourself as a Cavalier of the Crown. Now, for the audience at home, the Cavaliers of the Crown are an extension of the King's Royal Guard that sort of exists as his arm outside the palace. They are a small company of no more than 150 highly trained warriors who each are members of minor nobility, sort of the youngest children of families who won't inherit title themselves, but can have a prestigious and wealthy life in the nobility as a member of the Cavaliers. They're very well respected.
And they wear floppy hats.
They do wear floppy hats.
So as a classic L roll, I managed to get One success.
This was the first roll of the entire campaign. He's going to reflect the entire story.
Second roll, thank you.
She passed the first.
Thank you, Jazz.
It's all right.
One success. One success. Okay.
I'm a bit put off by Cosimo heavily breathing next to
Well, what actually happens as you stride towards this crowd to like make way, and you're kind of like, make way. You make no headway as they're just talking too loudly, and then
Great.
immediately to your side. Oi, out of the way! Come on! Cavalier's coming through! And Cosimo just pushes forward and people start like opening like a tide. And then he looks back at you and gives a little cheeky smile and he's just like, come on, Bianca, let's check it out.
It's Bianca.
Bianca. You know, I know how much it riles you up. And he grins again. And as the crowd parts, you see in the center of the group, a selection, probably 2 or 3 town guard. The town guard, you know, are a militia that in this particular part of the town are on the payroll of the guilds. It's up to the guilds, as you're in the guild ward, to effectively furnish and finance any town guard or town militia. And their responsibility is for the internal security of the town. You see 2 of them grabbing this man. They've already, well and truly, because there's a crowd gathered, they've got him sort of under wraps and he's being pulled in. He's sort of pulling and shoving. You can see he's dropped this little handful of garbage trinkets on the ground. And the town guard are just like, right, you lot, you're happy to see a show. Well, let's see a show.
A ruckus already.
Cavaliers are here. Wonderful. Oh, you shut up. And just a cudgel just goes straight into the side of this guy's leg. You hear a meaty whump. And there's a little, like, his pant tears and you can see blood, like, break the skin. He winces and sort of goes looser in their arms as he's bludgeoned. And the other officer seeing this and almost the crowd goes like, and this excited hum of anticipation. The other guard that's with him just goes, and one for you, just straight in the side of the ribs, and loses his bit of wind as he sort of buckles over. And they go, hola, fresh one for the pillory, a cavalier, anyone got some fruit? And people in the crowd start bringing towards wares from 2 days ago that they were ready to sell. And the town guard, like, gently goes to lob you a rotten, sort of weak tomato underhanded.
Oh, catch it.
Oh, your nobility.
Don't make me roll. Don't make me roll.
I'll allow you to catch it. You can catch it.
Literally, you know, her uniform was white. So,
well, your nobility, may you perhaps like to set off the festivities?
Well, you've gathered such a crowd. And she kind of like holds, if it's like moldy, she's holding
it's just
it
soft.
away
It's
from
just
her
quite soft.
head
Yeah.
a bit. Does Cosimo have one as well?
No, he's just
Okay.
watching you.
Well, let's get this over with. And she'll throw it kind of around the knee area.
Okay, now I'll get you to roll.
What am I rolling?
What do you want to roll? How are you throwing it?
Deftly.
Deftly, with deft of hand.
Can I deftly
I'm
throw
gonna
a tomato?
I'm going to say it's a bit...
Agility?
Agility,
What do you
yeah,
throw a
agility's fine.
tomato?
That's
Okay.
like, that's
most
fast, you whip it
dismissive
at him.
tomato you've ever seen.
I don't. She just wants it out of her hand.
All right, just roll, so you can roll agility. Challenge level to hit where you want to hit is 2. Otherwise, you're going to hit him, but you said the knee.
Yeah. 4.
You deftly, there's a splat, and the rotten tomato lands directly on his sullied or unsullied knee.
Is unsullied.
So now there is red staining the pants
She's
on
just
either
matching
side.
it out. Yeah.
Symmetry.
And then she's gonna mutter to Cosimo. Honestly, you'd think they'd learn not to cause a fuss by now.
You know, the people love a fuss. And they then drag this man a few feet back and throw him in a wooden pillory that's sitting up on sort of a few steps behind the fountain. There's 2 other pillories next to it. And then over the next sort of 30 seconds, a bunch of the merchants just throw their old wares out in front of everyone. And so begins a barrage of civilians running up, kids giggling and laughing as they run up and grab like a 2-handed grab a tomato and just throw it at this guy. And he's just getting pelted with vegetables. People running up and like kicking him in the shins, kicking him, punching him. Not so much that's like like a 10 out of 10, they're trying to kill him, but they're trying to hurt him in like a moderate way. And this guy's just having a terrible time.
I'm just going to be standing out at the blast radius.
Okay, just sort of watching
Yeah,
it.
not getting any splattered fruit on my uniform. Thank you.
And for the duration, Cosimo stands next to you and pats off his hat and uniform, and he doesn't pick up any fruit or vegetable and throw it. He just watches. And as this commotion is continuing and it's sort of starting to die down, Cosimo looks at you and says, "So, how long
How long what?
till you're called to see Pietro?"
Oh, any moment now, I think. Not here for nothing.
Well, good. The guardhouse is just over there. I'm excited for you.
Don't you have anything to be doing right now?
I'm doing it. I'm keeping the peace. And he looks around.
Right. Obviously.
And then, as this ruckus is going on, we cross not too far, just across this large fair market, to the town gate, which stands wide. The portcullis is open. The gates are wide. They don't close the gates. It's not a time of war. As Leona Ahmad is walking back into the town, under her arm, she's holding a large basket, and in that basket is freshly washed, scrubbed, and dried laundry. She had the common sense, as many who are skilled in their particular trade do, to head a bit south of town to wash the laundry in some of the smaller creeks and rivers that run in parallel to Alegrano. As of late, those who wash their clothes in the rivers of the street and the canals have noticed they come out sometimes dirtier than when they entered. That is a new trend. And she walks into the town and is walking alongside a woman from Alegrano, whose name is Edith, who's wearing sort of the white apron of a house servant. And she is also holding a basket of laundry, and she's been doing laundry with them. Jen, you describe Leona, what she looks like and how she carries herself as she walks back through the gates of Alegrano.
So Leona is an 18-year-old girl. She is not from LUCEVERA. She's just fresh off the boat from LUCEVERA. She's been here for about 6 months, and she works as a cleaner in her spare time. But she wants to become an engineer. She's very brilliant and wants to be an inventor. And that's pretty much it.
She's got to pay.
Yeah, exactly. And she has a purple scarf on her head, which she keeps all the time and wears it with great pride.
And what's the demeanour she's got about her as she walks in?
She's a bit of a spunky kind of girl, very fidgety, but also a little bit standoffish as well. So, yeah, you don't want to get on her bad side.
Oh, there's another one. Caught, tarred and feathered, as they say, says Edith as she throws a finger across, pointing at the now dwindling crowd that's leaving this man hanging from a pillory covered in rotten vegetables.
Who cares? I just want to get out of the sun.
Well, we'll have that soon enough for the rest of the day. What have you got on today, Leone?
Just cleaning.
Oh, that's the woman's life, isn't it? She rolls her eyes and gives you an elbow. Well, anything fun on the calendar?
What do you mean? It's the same thing every day. It's just...
not so. The good king's, well, the anniversary of his coronation's coming up. Festival citywide, I hear. I'm excited.
Oh,
Might be some young suitors looking for a woman who knows how to clean up after herself. She pats the basket of very finely pressed laundry.
Do you think there'll be some free stuff? Like, it's a festivity, right?
Oh, there's always a feast. Oh, you haven't been here since... Oh, it's a massive feast. The king puts on the best show. Oh, gosh, I do love our King Frederick. Oh, if he was 10 years younger and I was, well, not a peasant living in the slums...
Yeah, I'm sure you're a catch. So everyone
This
goes...
is your friend.
Checks out.
Very patient.
It's not like it is.
She's a perfectly lovely woman.
I kind of jabber in the ribs as I'm joking with her. And I say, does everyone go?
Well, it's hard not to. The streets are full.
So people leave their houses and go partake.
Yeah, we dance in the streets.
Interesting.
Oh, it's so wonderful. Oh, my God. I might be able to fix you up with someone.
No, that's
My
okay.
brother's got a couple of man friends who's...
No, I'm
Surely.
No.
Woman of your age. I'm surprised you don't have a few suitors. Also looking a bit, well, not so many from Kajet around here.
Yeah, look, from where I'm from, it's not really a priority.
Oh, what a place.
We work hard, and yeah. Anyway, I've got more important things to worry about.
Oh, all right. Always so mysterious, Leona. Could have a bit of fun once in a while.
Can't have fun, got to work.
Look, you just do me a favor, all right? Promise me you will enjoy the celebrations. You come have some fun with me.
Sure. Sounds like a good idea.
I'll hold you to it. Now, all right, my stop's here. I've got to head up to the commons, but you're at that big guild hall, aren't you?
Yeah, the assembly, yeah.
Oh, it must be fancy in there.
It needs to be cleaned a lot. It's a lot of dirty students.
Anyone about my age there, eh? And she's about 22-ish.
I'll keep a lookout.
Got a few rich folks in there.
What is your type?
Anyone with a bit of money, love.
Yeah, no, that's completely out of this demographic. You're completely screwed, sorry.
What kind of guild hall is this you've got you working for?
The cheapest one around.
Of course, always the way for us. Well, no luck for us, but tomorrow's another day, and you never know. Get a noble drunk enough, and who knows what could happen? She says with a smile, and then she kind of hops and steps and runs off. And about here, you are left peeling off to the left, where a wooden bridge covers a canal, which crosses over into the poorest and most rickety part of the guild ward, which is a very established and successful and cool and wealthy section of the city. Super cool, man. And you know what we haven't done, but I'm happy to do just for the sake of it, just to show off.
Yes!
Show off. Yes.
Yes! Do it!
Oh,
Whoa.
someone's very excited about this. I was infused.
Okay, you can bring it up.
All right, yes, I can.
Okay, so this is Alegrano, and we're going to have a look in the guild district.
Jessica
we are.
pressed the map button.
So this is
that
the
button.
All Trades Assembly, where you are walking across this bridge for podcast
Look how
listeners.
brown that river
Yes.
is.
Just make note of that
That's
river.
not a
That's
road.
Yeah,
That's
no.
not dirt. It's probably poo.
Water.
Well, if people like it.
Bathroom.
So it is a short walk onto this little island. It's a canal city, not nearly as much as Venice, but there are canals running through the city from a large river that runs through its center. And this particular section is functionally an island connected by a bridge and then a couple of makeshift planks. In the poorer parts of town, people throw they're boarded together and they throw planks across the canal and you can just walk across them. People aren't too precious about that. But
This design is awful.
and you walk forward and you see in front of you the large rickety building that is the All Trades Assembly. This is the building you work at, and it is, as you said, the poorest guild in the city. The All Trades Assembly is clearly in need of a bit of work. There's a section where the purple roof tiles, originally a sign of opulence and optimism, have fallen and cracked to the ground and been replaced with some wooden board instead. So there's chunks of ceiling tiles missing. Now it's being patched up. It's not like it's in disrepair and abandoned. It's just they couldn't afford to replace the nice roof tiles. So there's a few patches where it's mismatched and not in place. There's a couple of the window shutters that have broken off and have been replaced with window shutters from a different building. So it's all a little bit messy and hodgepodge. Cool. We can enter the All Trades Assembly, and the door to the All Trades Assembly opens, and you can basically begin any of the work that you would be doing.
So when Leona crossed over onto the little island, she would have put the basket on her head instead and walked with it on her head, so it doesn't fall into the river. And then she pops it down and takes a look around. Is it dirty?
There is work going on. There's dirt everywhere. There's sawdust as craftsmen are sawing a few bits of wood. Across the room, you can see Dolores, the guild master, and she is instructing one of the newer recruits, someone you've only seen around for a couple of weeks, Lorenzo, and she seems to be having a discussion with him that you can't quite pick up right now. But your eyes sort of dart around, and a sudden blur of movement below your eye line drags your attention.
Huh?
Leone! You're back!
Oh, yes, I'm back.
As you see Ilio Libero, who rocks up in front of you, the youngest apprentice of the All Trades Assembly, one far too young to actually be apprenticed, if not for the sake that he's the only remaining master of the guild. His grandfather is, in fact, his guardian, his sole guardian. So Ilio basically lives at the guild with his grandfather, and he runs up. Leone, it's magnificent. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Grandpa, he's finishing today.
Finish.
And he like only just manages to remember that he needs to like drop his voice, and then he's like, "Your thing that you're working on in secret with him."
The cleaning.
Yes, the cleaning supply. Yes, it's done. I know. Very good cleaning, Leone. He says loudly to the room. Wonderful job cleaning. Oh, beautiful. Look at these blankets. Oh, so pressed. It's almost done, Leone. It's almost done.
That's great.
Let me help. I pulled some of the strings myself. This is so exciting.
It is.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
No,
you ready? How much duties do you have before we can look at it?
I'm sorry, say it again.
How many duties do you have before we can look at it?
I mean, this place is pretty messy. I'll probably be here
I
for a while.
can't wait till sundown. Okay. And then Ilio and the mistresses, Dolores, sort of words just silence the entire room, even though she didn't speak that loudly. Silencio. And the room just falls to silence. And Ilio just sort of almost starts sliding across the floor towards where he came from, like skulking so silently. Did you have something you were going to say?
No, that's fine.
And he strides across. Well, we're going to move on for a moment as we move upstairs. And we're going to break things up a little bit because I would like Arvin to describe his room in the loft.
Wow. Well, Arvin's room is not much more different when something explodes in there, to be completely honest. There is almost 90% scientific research, vials, concoctions, materials, and somewhere in a corner under more of that, apparently there is a bed somewhere that sometimes sees use. The bed sheets are a mystery. They may have burnt up at some point. We will find out if they ever get replaced.
So, at this current stage, is the hours of the morning, it's probably around 11 a.m., maybe even close to noon. Leone was out doing like the laundry all morning because it's been washed and dried and everything, folded. And currently, Arvin is laying in a small puddle of his own drool. Basically, not necessarily your character, but you are. So Arvin is asleep literally on his desk. He's fallen asleep working and is like slack-jawed, open-mouthed, the classic look. There's a couple of knocked over things next to him. And he is completely unconscious at a messy workbench, which you may or may not describe for the audience. Depends if you'd like them to know what you're working on.
Yeah, well, first of all, Arvin is pretty much a believer of that sort of chaotic tidiness. So, like, there is a method to the madness, but no one else may decipher this. To anyone else, it probably looks like everything is arranged in some sort of absolute haphazard manner, and then half of it was just knocked to the floor sort of thing. What he's working on at the moment seems to be some sort of weird concoction. He's gone back and re-scrawled a lot of things. There's a lot of retakes on different pieces of parchment, using every ounce and centimetre of these bits of, very valuable papers. In fact, one of them appears to possibly have been part of the bed sheet, but again, we may never have known because it is no longer white, that's for sure.
Can I get, as Unbeknownst to Arvin, in that weird state between sort of consciousness and unconsciousness, can I get you to make a acuity check as your awareness begins to prick to some activities that are happening around your unconscious body?
All right. Acuity, huh? What challenge rating?
It's gonna scale. You're gonna get more because there's multiple things happening. You're gonna get more based on how many successes you get.
Classic.
Let's go with a 1.
One success. All right.
Hey, he's sleeping, all right?
Yeah. It's just this side of the table. We know. Yeah.
There is a gentle prod at your face as the wind of the ocean blows through your hair. You're sort of calmly sitting on a serene beach, having a moment of peace, a really pleasant dream, watching a large ship of the line come in. And the wind blows and just sort of pushes into your face, and it starts getting uncomfortable as your eye starts to water, and repeatedly you're getting like pushed in the face till your lip gets pushed up, and then you get pushed back into the sand and your eyes snap open, and directly standing in front of your face, a small construct, I guess we'd call it, of porcelain is leaning in forwards with its sort of rounded fist, whatever you'd call it, hand, implement, digit, and it's just sort of prodding your face with increasing force as you sleep.
Kurt, stop it now.
It makes a weird little like clicking sound as the top half of it just like where its legs are just sort of rotate 360 degrees, and its hands go like and it's like finally woken you up, and it does almost a little dance, like a little back and forth. Not like really, these are all super subtle movements, but you have interpreted this sort of stuff because you know it. And it just sort of like and then spins around and plods slowly back off your paperwork.
Sort of like sit up and peel off the piece of parchment that like came with my face. It's too early for this. What is it now? What have you found?
It just sits down on the side of your desk, and then it sort of rotates its point of attention towards the window, where you immediately see that the sun is like high in the sky, and it must be near midday. And it seems to be less that it's found something and more that you were just asleep for a very long time.
Oh, I see. Has it been one day or 2?
It's been 2 days. Arvin, you really have to start taking care of yourself. Aww. And you turn your head and you see Amelie, the caretaker of the building, as she's replacing sort of a plate that had been left and has got now like rotten, like not super rotten, but like a day old food on it that you've just slept through. She's like taking it off the table and putting a fresh plate down. And
yeah, I was about to get to that.
Oh, darling, when are you going to learn? You can work and work, but you have to sleep too and eat and take care of yourself. Look at you. Oh, you're so painfully thin. Here. And she lifts up a tray. Have a biscotti. And she hands a biscuit towards you. Fresh baked. Elio's favorite.
Oh, thank you very much, Melly.
And she like sits on your bed and like fluffs out her apron. Sometimes I feel like I like coming up here. You know, Arvin, I get some peace. You're the only one who sleeps more than they talk.
I'm fairly sure that you're just making the argument that I don't do that enough.
Well, you sleep or you work, but when you work, I'm not allowed in, you know? The door's closed.
Yes. Also, you complained about the smell. That's why the door stays closed.
Yes, we got to do something about that. But look, I'm starting to worry about you, you know.
Well, more than usual?
Yeah, more than usual. You know, I don't know. I don't think the mistress would say, but there's a lot of hope for the guild on your shoulders, you know, boy.
Oh. How did you know? Did she smile less around me or something? What did she say?
Oh, you know, I have her ear in ways that nobody else does. And she smiles cheekily. Look, I wanted to let you know that the mistress wants to speak to you.
Oh.
That's why I came to get you up, but your little friend Ticket did it for you.
Oh, that's... He gets Sarki if I don't wake up on the first try.
Well, I was going to wake you up and, you remind me a lot of my youngest brother. He looked like you, but like he also saw the sun sometimes and maybe had a couple more suitors.
Oh, I see. So nothing like me, Amelie. I understand.
Well, it's the soul. Good boy. Anyway, she wishes to see you. So when you get yourself ready, and
You mean you didn't come up here to learn about what I've been doing?
do you want to tell me for once?
I do. I always do. You never.
No.
Say.
You say you tell me. You start speaking, and then buzz, all this engineering nonsense, alchemy nonsense. I don't know. I just want to know you're doing good. You're doing good.
I am doing good, Amelie. Thank you.
And then she puts another, passes you a... Did you eat the first biscotti?
I sure did.
She hands you another one. And then she, almost pushes it towards your mouth, into your cheek, eat. And then she looks down at the tray and takes two more off and puts them next to your counter. And then she, stands up off the bed. All right. And she starts to walk out.
All right. I'll go see her.
Well, clean yourself up. Your uniform, maybe put on a fresh one? The mistress, she cares so much about that.
Fresh one. Yes, I'll find that one.
Okay, well, just put...
Take it twisted about that, right?
What other... And she, starts grabbing vials off your shelves and putting her nose to them, but not in a way that you seem as dangerous. She does have some familiarity with some of the stuff. What is it? This one. And she hands it to you. Lavender. Put a dab of it on. It's maybe needed. She starts to walk out.
Avon's stinky.
Has he described himself for the podcast?
Now, please do. Sorry for that. Sorry for role playing.
No, I just wanted to make sure
no.
before we forget.
Al, I always sound like I'm coming down on you when you have the best words, the best advice. Please
take that.
describe your now waking character.
Cool. All right. Well, holding the vial of what he's fairly sure didn't used to be lavender, Arvin runs a hand through his fairly greasy now hair and mutters to Ticket, maybe I should take a bit of a bath.
You've been in your studio for a few days.
Arvin is, unfortunately, as pointed out by Amelie, quite sallow-skinned from indoors activity, even though the windows are open for very necessity, the ventilation. Though there's a lot of soot staining these windows now. He's very wiry. He's not weak. He has quite a bit of fortitude and resilience. He's just very untrained in any physicality whatsoever. Very good with his hands, with all the concoctions. He's sporting quite a few new soot stains, which he will try his best to hide from a Leona. His uniform is quite patched. He is going to try the trick once again of turning it inside out, therefore once again fooling Amelie into thinking that he has more than one of them. He carries pretty much everything he needs, and everything he needs is usually a lot of alchemical equations, sketches, thoughts in a satchel, which he cuts around to take notes. He is eternally getting distracted by nearly every single thing that he sees. He gets called intense quite a lot, but really he's just deep in thought or considering the inner machinations either of his own mind, the world around him, or just how someone's jaw is working, which leads to some weird confrontations, which also makes people think that he's not very socially skilled. However, he is perfectly capable at dealing with people. Just a lot of the time he wants to work, therefore chooses not to deal with people.
He does get buried in his work. Speaking of people buried with their work, we're going to move back downstairs as Mistress Dolorosa Muraro is pacing back and forth behind Lorenzo del Martello, who is leaning down and scribing, drawing, practicing the art of merciology. Can you describe Lorenzo for everyone?
Lorenzo has spent all of his life as a stonemason, but has always aspired to the arts. It's just never been available to him until the chance recently where he finally convinced his father to loan him enough to set off into the big city and make it as an artist. His father expects him to come back a failure, and Lorenzo is determined to succeed, but has failed for over a year and gotten kicked out of everywhere it's been so far. And here, in his, I guess, last chance, the last opportunity he may have to be an artist of some sort, he is working in this more rigid form than he would otherwise like, and struggling a bit, but trying his damn hardest. But he does not look the picture of the person who would normally be, associated with this sort of craft. He's almost 7 foot tall, like 6.5, 7 foot, really tall and broad.
Big boy.
Big tall,
himbo energy.
heavy, that's it. But he shrinks within himself. He sits with small postures. He stays at the back of groups. He's very small in how he presents himself. And when Mistress Della Rosa is instructing him, he's putting everything he's got into like listening and showing his listening and trying to apply, but she's so experienced and knowledgeable that he finds it quite intimidating and gets quite nervous. But he's doing his best as she explains his current task.
There is the whip crack of a reed pointer slapping against a wooden desk that snaps Lorenzo to attention as Dolorosa leans in. Simply unacceptable.
Sorry, mistress. I will try harder.
Your lug body would be better suited with the laborers. She throws a gesture over towards the other people in the room that are just like literally laborers cutting and carving. Why do I spend so much time on you, Lorenzo?
He looks at her earnestly and says, because no one will ever try as hard, even if the skill is not yet there. I will get there, I promise, mistress.
Then what do you call this? And she leans down, and with her one arm, as so Mistress Dolorosa is wearing the blue vest, the blazer of this guild, buttoned up and frilled, kept more immaculate than anyone else. But her left arm is actually pinned up. The sleeve is pinned all the way to the shoulder, and she has a slight sort of an uncomfortable hunch or twist in her spine that sort of tells a bit more of the story of an injury that took her arm. But she points with a thing. She folds up. You're working really hard on this draft. But she peels up the corner of the paper to a spare bit of scrap underneath, where maybe Lorenzo's artistic side, in a moment of, not while she was there, while she was off doing something else, just maybe had a little relaxing doodle. Yeah. And she slides, and you had no idea how would she have even seen that had happened? Yeah. And it's not technically anything wrong with that, is there? No, I mean, you're allowed some free time. But she lifts it up and she says, such a waste of chalk.
I was practicing my freehand, mistress.
Well, you don't need freehand when you're doing engineering drawings. If you hadn't spoiled the morning's work with this idle-minded silliness, I would say and she looks deliberately upset to be saying this, turned out an acceptable set of technical drawings.
Lorenzo takes a cautious breath, and inside he's like, okay, we're doing it.
Acceptable is praise from her.
Yeah, this is a big deal. And Lorenzo hasn't been here for very long and has felt like he'll be kicked out any moment. So acceptable is progress.
All right. Suddenly, before she can continue and sort of talk to you or instruct you, there is a bit of distraction as a laborer is greeting a messenger at the door. And Dolorosa, sort of picking up on this, strides over. Would you like to listen in? Kind of peek the ear?
Eavesdrop.
Or are you just going to keep doing it?
I think he's going to focus. Mm-hmm. I think he wants to keep applying himself. He doesn't want to be seen as doing the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. So he's just going to get back to his work. But before he does, one of his little rituals that he does just to sort of regain a bit of composure and courage is he pulls out from his own private collection of papers and books this very interestingly coloured feather, a really gorgeously vibrant one. It's the only thing of colour he owns aside from the scarf on his lapel that he got, in his work in the city. And it's a really, it's the thing that he loves most in his life. It's the only thing he has from his mother that he sort of twirls around in his fingers and takes a few deep breaths and then tucks it back away in his books and sets back to work. Not intent on listening to anything else.
I won't get you to make a roll then. And after a few moments, Mistress Dolorosa sort of strides back to... So, to give context, she's sort of... Where she is and where you are is a section of this large warehouse hall. I guess I didn't really describe the inside of this building, did I? I said there was laborers. I did a little
You
bit.
said outside a bit when
Yeah,
you
so
was arriving.
interior-wise, imagine like a large open workshop or warehouse or even factory, but in a more Renaissance setting. So there's no machinery in here, but there's lots of work tables. And it's about at 15 to 25% capacity. So there's a lot of empty space and cobwebs in corners that are no longer being worked in. But she's standing there's like a blackboard style board with his papers, the drafting tables. It's an area where she would give instruction to people, of which currently you are the only person sitting to be given instruction in this particular lesson. Now, because this is sort of her lectern area, this is just where she organically goes back to think, and she's not really paying attention to you. But you see she unfurls this note and begins to read it sort of as you peek up. And she reads it again, looks over it, reads it a second time. Scrunches it up, but with dignity, not in like an ink, just sort of like folds and curls and then tightly squeezes it rather than like scrunching it up into a ball. The lesson is over.
Mistress?
The lesson is over, Lorenzo.
Okay,
Up.
What do you have me? As you wish. And I grab my things. I was hoping to finish the schematics that you had assigned me, and
I'm no longer in the mood. Now, make yourself useful, Lorenzo. Go get Arvin.
yes, mistress. And I stumble upstairs.
Am I in the room when this is happening?
You're cleaning in the room. Yeah.
Cool. I want to keep a good eye on her scrunched up hand.
Okay.
I want to see where that trash is going.
She's holding on to it. She actually puts it in her like blazer pocket.
Okay.
Cool.
Duly noted.
Wiley Leone.
Okay. So, actually, can I get you to I'm going to get you to make a check to like keep an eye on that. So probably
Hot dog.
Probably over the course of the next several hours, even though this is kind of out of sequence of the role play, I think it'll probably be investigation to like keep tabs, keep mental notes, track it, because she moves it into a thing, moves it here. Does she empty her pockets or not?
It's like that cup game where the die.
Yeah. Trying to track the one particular piece of parchment.
Can I pair it with intelligence?
Yeah. Challenge level 3.
Oh, I only got
2 successes.
Yeah, 2.
So unfortunately, over the course of the day and the various activities that are to follow, you don't have any opportunity to see where that ends up. It may still be in her pocket. So, Lorenzo, you clamber up the stairwell. This warehouse is attached to, it's like a big building that's conjoined from multiple elements. There's some sleeping spaces, there's some workshop, there's the large workshop floor, but there's also some like quote unquote laboratories. But you know, that term is a little bit weird. There's like a forge room. There's a few different multidisciplinary rooms. There's also a few places where people sleep. There's also a kitchen. As with many of the larger halls and buildings in this era, it kind of can do pretty much everything. There's a stairwell, a rickety wooden stairwell that leads up. There's a couple of doors, but then another one that leads up to like the loft, the attic space in the roof, where you know that Arvin kind of has his lair. Not that you see him very much, but you're aware of Arvin.
Do I pass?
How long have you been at the All Trades Assembly?
Oh, what, like maybe a month or two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you spend out of your room there, Arvin? Is Arvin missing an R on this overlay?
No, it's spelled like
No,
that.
that's correct.
Arven, A-V-E-N. Okay.
Yeah.
I've written it down wrong in my notes.
Wow.
Oh no.
I'd say generally only if he needs to think and he happens to just like stride out of his room like deep in thought, or if he's summoned.
So I've had very little to do with you, or I've probably like a know of you and have
Yeah, or
seen
like
you
you've
once or
spotted
twice,
me.
but I've never
Yeah.
really had any conversations.
You probably had a couple of short words over meals at shared times once or twice.
Yeah.
You would know Arven is a journeyman at this guild, which means he's actually he completed his education and he left his apprenticeship. But he seems to have just not left. A lot of journeymen at guilds would go off and start their own, like, a blacksmith apprentice becomes a blacksmith, goes and opens a blacksmith. His area of expertise seems to be alchemy as well, making him, it's actually the only alchemist at the guild.
I suspect he might have the impression that Lorenzo wouldn't be around for long anyway, as a lot of the people in the guild haven't been.
Yeah, correct.
Do I pass Amelie on the way up?
Yes, you pass Amelie as she starts to come down. Amelie looks at you. What's your expression looking like?
I can't help but pause, and I'm like, Amelie, you made a biscotti again.
Oh, of course. For you? And she picks one up and offers you one.
I am most grateful. Thank you.
And she looks at you and looks at your massive biceps and like sort of big, well structure, and she says, "Have another. You're wasting away, darling." We need to put some meat on those bones. You're sinew like a lamb in the fields.
serious.
You need to get some meat on you.
Growing boy, as my mama used to say.
Something for the ladies to squeeze. And she smiles.
At that, Lorenzo goes bright red. It's like, thank you, Amelie.
And then she smiles and walks. And then she looks back up and she says, "Oh, our dinner tonight is your favorite." And she smiles.
Spaghetti? Sorry,
Spaghetti.
spaghetti.
Is it spaghetti? What's your favorite spaghetti?
I'd like,
Bolognese.
sure.
You're going full.
No, I don't know. I feel like
So
Okay.
basic.
what is Lorenzo's favorite food?
She aglio e olio with some parmesan.
Yeah, perfect.
Really simple, really light, very affordable.
Really good.
Maybe maybe something with fish. I don't have a lot of fish back there.
Pescator. Yeah,
Yeah.
What's
there's a bit
something
of
with
fish.
beans
Yeah.
for Jolie?
Yeah.
Fish are jumping out of the river trying to escape it.
I'm delighted always at your presence and kindness.
And
Thank you.
She heads on down. And then you knock on the old door, or how do you approach Arven's little lair?
Arven, excuse me, you have been summoned.
I know, I'm coming!
I like creak the door open just a crack.
I'm nearly presentable. Look, you. Lorenzo.
Yes.
Yes. Knew it. Haha.
You remember my name. That is good.
Yes. I'm usually very good, but sometimes I do slip up.
I'm humbled. The Mistress De La Rosa has asked for your presence.
Yes,
I
I'm
must
coming.
warn you, she is not in the best of moods, which is saying something for her.
Oh, that is most impressive. All right. Oh, okay. I'm coming. Mustn't make her wait longer. All right. There. How do I look? Is it okay?
How does he look? how do you look to the layperson?
I mean, like a slightly disheveled guild member, but you've managed to pull yourself together all right.
Like,
Yeah.
Can you see any more soot stains?
You
They're
look
gone?
remarkable, sir.
Take that as a no. Yes. Excellent. Okay. Cool. And are your ears red? You've been talking to Amelie.
I like start eating the second biscotti and starts walking away shyly.
Yeah, she does that. Okay. Let's go.
All right. So as you guys start to head downstairs, we're crossing town. We are crossing town to the interior of a lavishly appointed location. It is the Cavaliers' headquarters inside the guild ward. So this is they're part of their garrison, and it's the office. The door to the office closes behind, and now alone, because Cosimo can't come into this section. Well, he can, but this is for you alone, basically. As the door
She would
shuts
have looked
behind
at
you.
him to be like silently, it's your time to go.
He smiles and just says, "Good luck.
Thank
I mean it. You deserve this."
I hope so.
And then he heads off. And you walk into this office. The door shuts behind you, and it is bathed in the warm light of lanterns. There are these beautiful tapestries hanging down, a painting, a hyper-realistic painting on oil of the man who is in fact sitting in front of you, but a younger man on a battlefield or just after a battlefield. And in front of you sits Pietro Falcone, the lieutenant of the Guild Ward, and one of the 3 lieutenants in the Cavaliers of the Crown. And then there is a captain and a quartermaster. So he's very important. He's a noble of moderate to high stature without being landed.
As you can tell by his wondrous feather.
Yes, he has many a feather. And he looks across the table at you. He's sitting down and he gestures to a wooden chair that sits across the table from him.
Thank you. And she'll take her seat.
Bianca,
Lieutenant?
you have served well.
Thank you.
Your tenure does honor to your family name.
I only hope to do as much honor as my brother has.
Chasing after the heels of the lieutenant, then.
Maybe one day.
A good aspiration to have. Well, your first independent assignment.
Yes.
Are you nervous?
No, not at all.
You should be.
Why?
Because this is what separates the recruits from, well,
And he flicks that shoulder cape the same one Cosimo did. He's like,
God.
the Cavaliers is a serious responsibility. I know you dabbled in academia.
For a little, it wasn't really my thing.
How can I be sure you're married to the blade, not the book?
My dedication is unlike anyone else's, I promise you.
That's what they all say. But you know, when you say it like that, I half believe you.
I hope I can show you.
So your assignment. You know we're doing the king's work, yeah?
Always.
We've been tasked with auditing these guilds.
Yes.
Now that you're at this stage, this time I let you in a little bit more. When you complete this task, you'll be fully fledged. Well, you are of course a member, but you will reach rank. Ability to conduct independent investigations. So it's time we tell you why we are doing some of what we've been doing. I know the younger Cavaliers are a rumor and gossip about what we do, but the king believes the guilds are pushing things too far.
How so?
Some of them no longer remember what it means to be a decent human.
Goodness.
We have found evidence of sciences of the sick mind. The twisting of the flesh. Disregard for safety, disregard for the impact of these,
and he throws his fingers up, innovations, like mocking them with air quotes.
Experiments gone wrong.
not only that, experiments of an irresponsible nature.
I see.
The good Duke, he ordered one closed down just the other day. You know, they made this invention, sickening to think. It's an invention that does the work of 3 men.
What kind of invention is that?
It was some tilling machine for the farms. The work of 3 men. Ha! To put 3 good men out of work. They can't feed their families. For some machine to make 1 man fat on its wealth. This is not the LUCEVERA the king envisions. A place where every man, every woman can aspire to make something of themselves. No, not if the guilds hoard all the wealth. We can't allow
Everyone
it.
needs a purpose.
Everyone needs a purpose, not just those who seek to control everything. So, that will be your first assignment. You will be auditing a guild to ensure their practices are in standing with the king's doctrine, to ensure there are no unsavory activities going on there. No disregard for safety, humanity, good things for good people.
Understood. And which guild would I be assigned to?
For this, I apologize. You may receive some good-natured ribbing from your colleagues. It's
And he files through some paperwork.
the Old Trades Assembly.
And you immediately know this to be like the poorest, most on the edge of the society. Like there is the least prestige to be had being assigned here.
She's gonna try and keep her face like as blank as possible.
That's a roll.
Yeah, go on.
Do you want me to roll for it?
So, you, yes, I know, it's not desirable, but
Someone must do it.
indeed. So, your assignment, these audits, the guilds, they hold much money and lots of power, and we can't do them by half measure. I expect this assignment will be the better part of a month, perhaps two. As long as...
And he leans forward and he hands you this like golden badge that basically it signifies that you have the authority to conduct these investigations on your own. He says,
But it is at your discretion. You turn in your report when you feel you have uncovered what you need to uncover. And on your word, this,
and he goes back to like check the name.
Old Trades Assembly lives or dies.
That is a big responsibility, Lieutenant.
These are big shoes you fill.
And he looks down, almost comically, we look down to the large cuffed, like huge leather boots that the Cavaliers wear with like big cuffs and buckles.
And my little petite ones. But they've been shined very nicely.
So, the leader is Mistress Dolorosa Muraro. She is a grumpy one from what I hear. She was quite an up-and-comer, but her guild ruffled some feathers. Supposedly a place where everyone could work from all trades, as is in the name,
Right.
but breaking with convention of a guild teaches a craft, and the craft, the society of astronomers,
Or a
humorists.
specific artisan.
Well, how well can you learn a trade if you learn it from 5 teachers of different artistries? It doesn't make sense, but I'll leave that to you to judge. Either way, their guild is on the brink. Some accident she had meant she was unable to do the work she was best suited for.
An accident within the guild.
Oh, this was before the war even.
I see.
Some workplace incident. They're fairly common these days, more and more with the guilds and their machines, but
Right. Well, I'll look into their conduct and make sure there's nothing untoward for the king.
do try to, as we do, and he puts on a big smile, ingratiate yourself with them. Make them your friend, because if you can't be friends with them, then they will never tell you what's really going on.
They won't show me anything.
Exactly. So, good luck.
Right.
And if you do get into trouble, the Cavaliers have your back.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I'll endeavour to do this the best I can.
Bring me your updates whenever you feel suitable, but as you imagine, I have much on. We have to prepare and secure for the celebration of the King's coronation.
Yes, of course.
The anniversary.
Big day.
Fun day. Perhaps you'll be off duty and you can let your hair down, but I doubt it.
Probably not.
With like a moment of like, you better not be.
Of course not. You
Good.
know me.
Now, off with you.
Of course.
Send in your friend, Cosimo.
We're not. Yes, Lieutenant.
Oh, come on. I know your families are as thick as thieves.
She'll just get out of there. Cosimo.
And we will leave there as Cosimo is sent into Pietro.
There we go.
I actually think he's always doing that.
As
Back on.
Lorenzo and Arvin head downstairs to meet Mistress.
Oh, you are right. I can see that she is quite the temper.
I step to the side and indicate after you.
Smart. Whatever you do, even if you think she can't see you, don't smile. And I'll go approach the Guild Master.
She looks up, looking frustrated.
Guild Master, good morning.
Arvin. Yes. I was going to talk to you about something else, but this message has arrived, and it now takes my attention.
Oh, whatever could that be?
Come. You,
Sure.
Lug,
Yes, mistress?
tidy the desks.
Yes, mistress.
And she walks off with you. She just walks into a side room, which is like one of her offices that doesn't get as much use as it once did. There's like drafting tables that are covered in dust. As you know, her career was as one of the best technical drawers and drafts person in the entire city. And she closes the door.
I got a message from the Crown.
The crown.
We are being... Tell you what. Never mind. Something has happened. The first matter. The shipment that we were expecting,
Oh, yes.
it's not coming.
What do you mean? What do you mean it's not coming?
Oh, I mean everything on it, and it is not coming. So, I need you to go and find it. It's been sent, but it never arrived. And we don't have anyone... I don't have anyone I can trust that has the guild's best interest in heart other than you, Arvin.
Right, do we have any word where it's currently at?
I can give you the information I have, which is hidden in a pile of documents that the GM has.
There's a lot on your desk, I can see that.
She does only have one.
This may sound ridiculous coming from me, but have you considered tidying?
Wow.
It left from the barony of PR. And from there, it is lost. You could head to Bluvium, the capital of that region, or any of the towns along the way. It's about a 3-day journey.
Could be worse, I suppose. Yeah, I could take a few young apprentices, I suppose. There's a bit of a field trip. There's a bit of safety in numbers. I mean, we're not really expecting anything difficult here.
I suspect perhaps someone clever knew what was on board that delivery and is perhaps waiting for an opportunity to demand tariffs, taxes, and additional fees. Perhaps you should use that Lorenzo boy for his more obvious talents. A bit of intimidation.
And the big hammer helps, I'm sure.
And the big head, too.
Is he in danger of impressing you, headmistress?
I've never been much interested in big men with thick heads.
I meant some of his
Valid.
work.
It's barely equality to call it that, Arvin. You do him too much favor.
I said nothing.
We'll see when he can turn up a technical drawing that's worthy of Libero's craft. But you forced me to concede he's earned enough attention to continue to have a chance to prove himself. Perhaps this test of loyalty will soften my demeanor towards him.
Well, we will see what he can do.
Good. The two of you then. You'll set out soon? Tomorrow?
All right, just the two of us? Okay.
I don't see why not. This is a delicate matter, as you know.
Of course.
And at this stage, at the entrance, to the door, there's a creaking sound. Can I get you to make an acuity check?
The entrance to the door.
Yeah, the door. At the entrance.
entrance.
At
Door
the door.
entrance.
There's a door on the
Sorry
door.
for misspeaking.
Challenge rating. Oh, are you doing escalating again?
Challenge rating for this is 2 and then 4.
Whoa.
3. Okay. You recognize the shifting footsteps of someone leaving the door, and you're quite certain that someone was listening at the door, but you don't know who. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to cut to Leona, who is working and cleaning away.
Scrub it up, dub.
And the dice cam will leave one day.
There we go.
Be gone.
All trying to change the character and it's just not happy.
And you hear soft footsteps approach from behind Leona.
Leone!
You turn and see Libero.
Libero.
My genius invention is finished. Did my grandson tell you?
He sure did.
And he winks at you when he says, "My genius invention," but he's speaking loud enough that other laborers and stuff could hear. Mm-hmm. Can I get you to make an insight check?
Oh boy. Yeah, right. What am I rolling?
An insight check.
So that it's insight.
Plus
We
wisdom.
don't have insight.
Oh, I can always say intuition.
You mean
Same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Intuition, insight. Sorry.
Jen's like,
Intuition.
I
Intuition.
wanted to roll that. That's great.
Intuition.
Pairing with wisdom.
Challenge level 2. Okay. You spot that he has just come from over where Dolorosa Muraro's office is. And he's sort of shuffling in his little old man slippers in this workshop. He comes over to you. He does seem to have a minor sense of like haste about him all of a sudden.
I'm almost done with my cleaning.
Good, very good. I believe it's ready for testing.
Excellent.
So,
He rests his hand on your shoulder softly and he's very caring, like he's always like this. He's grandfatherly. He says,
I have a feeling there will be need or opportunity for you to get out in the field with it. And I'm going to need someone to, my back, I'm too old for this now. I can't do it myself. So would you help the guild out?
Of course. Ilio was going to be the perfect test subject. I'm just kidding.
he looks like taken aback momentarily, like he actually make a charm roll. challenge level 4.
She's from out of town. She has different, sense of humor.
Let's do
2. He recovers quickly, but you actually think that your joke like just shot straight into like a really uncomfortable sore spot for him, and he looked hurt for a second. But he covers up faster than you can even like try and work around it. You just know that you said something that was like not a good thing to say.
In the top left corner of your view, it says
Libero disliked that. Libero remembered that. And he's like, yes, well, too dangerous for the boy, of course, and too heavy. So will you do it?
Of course.
Excellent. I will ensure that you are still paid your two crowns a day.
Oh, that's very nice of you. Thank you.
I have a feeling it will be about a week you're away for.
To test it, really?
I have a sudden feeling.
The door to Mistress Muraro's office opens, and she and Arvin walk out. And he turns and says,
Oh, great Guildmaster! I have wonderful news. My invention, the collapsing, wonderful siege weapon that will revolutionize war, is finished, and it needs testing. So I have assigned Leona to the next possible expedition. Any possible reason, with a big smile, you might have anyone leaving that could accompany this poor, frail, sweet little girl.
Yes.
the mistress just looks over and like completely knows the entire situation backwards and front. And she just says like turns to Arvin. Looks like Leona is coming with you.
Gosh.
Big hammer, huh?
And big disaster, whatever Libero's thrown together this time.
We'll call this the wild card.
If it breaks, you're paying for it. Ah, it won't break. They never break. They always break.
Yeah, this break.
All right. And at this point, you have an opportunity to tell them what's going on as Leone trods up and you walk over to Lorenzo,
Who's cleaning papers and stuff.
Hello.
Yes.
Are you okay, Arvin?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. So good news. You get to go on a little expedition.
the door knocks. Before anyone can react, Ilio runs over the door and pulls the door open. Hello, welcome to the Old Trades Assembly. He throws his arms high and
I'm glad I told him that.
do you have work? You need work done? We have many skilled people. And Bianca
Ilio.
is standing there. She's arrived at the door.
She has her eyes like at her eye level, and she's quite tall, and so it takes her a few seconds to like look down.
Cavalier of the Crown.
That's correct. Yes.
Your feather is beautiful.
Thank you. I'm glad someone around here has good taste. Okay.
And he just like runs off and he's like starts running around.
Hello. She's like, I'll knock again.
The door is open.
Is
He's
there
like,
anyone in there?
yeah, you can see into
I
this
can
full
see
warehouse. You can see there's an old man who's like trying to settle down Ilio and going over to this big workbench. And you can see there is a group of 3 people that look like they are just literally starting a conversation, standing right in the middle of the room.
That's crazy.
Is Mistress Delarosa in the room?
She's standing near you as well.
Okay.
Hello. I assume you got a letter. I'm like looking, and I think she'd probably catch who the is.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Leona awkwardly points to the mistress, like really subtly. Not subtly.
She gives a delicate but very slight bow of her head, and she says, an esteemed cavalier of the crown. Feel free to look around.
Thank you. And only now will I step in past the threshold. You received the note, I assume?
Yes.
Beautiful. May I? And she'll like walk over to the papers that Lorenzo is kind of clearing up.
May you what? And she leans in.
Inspection, of course.
Yes. And what would you be inspecting with things you don't understand?
Making sure everything is up to the king's standard, of course.
Of course, the good king's standard. Wonderful. I'm so glad you're here.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's it then, is it? Very well, good. And she starts walking towards you and puts her hand to like start gesturing you out. Very good. You can see it's all good
I'll have
here.
you know that I was actually assigned here for a month.
Darling, a month. As Emily walks over out from the kitchen. darling, sweet. And she walks over and runs her hand delicately down Dolores Muraro's back, sort of calming gesture, and she says, "Oh, it's fine. We have a guest. Welcome to the Old Trades Assembly.
Thank you.
Stay as long as you like. Biscotti?
You made them?
Of course.
I like sniffle a bit.
It smells good. It looks good. It's fresh baked.
Lorenzo calls gently
take-
across the room. They're very nice. You should try them.
Right. Thank you. And I'll grab one. And who are you?
Lorenzo looks a little panicked, like he should have inserted himself. I am merely an apprentice, your lady.
Back way a little bit. Clear space.
Learning the arts from the masters.
Right. I'll save this for later. Thank you.
Well, you have free reign to look around, yes? A month, a very long time.
And you can see that Muraro is like probably becoming volcanic, like slowly, like eyes twitching, and this
My feather.
big
It's
arm
like-
just
I don't know.
goes around her shoulder, like shoves a biscotti up near her face, and just starts like directing her and like frog marching her out, like just like storming out with like intense like direction and force. And the only person in the entire building who could ever do anything like that.
Well, what a lovely welcome.
And you're left with this group standing there.
Allow me, please, to introduce the more senior guild members. We have Signor Libero and Alvin of the alchemy.
Yes, that's
trade.
me. I am
Oh, I've never heard of that name before.
Well, it's a fresh one for me too.
I stutter when I'm nervous.
I am a guild
see.
master, lady. Forgive me.
He gives a bow that's like 2 centimeters deep, and he's like,
My back is not what she used to be.
Don't throw your back up, please. Again.
I won't, I promise. I need you to lift it. You're all ready to go, yes?
I overheard an invention.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about it. Sorry. And he like starts to walk off.
Oh my gosh.
I must say, this is a very chaotic place. Is it normally like this?
No, it's usually much worse. Welcome to the Old Trades Assembly. I am Arvin. What can we do for you?
Well, I've been sent to just inspect and make sure everything is, up to standard and clean. And she'll kind of look around.
Cool.
And,
This normally takes a month.
well, yes, we need to do a thorough job, to pass on to the king. After all, it is by his order.
The king.
Yes, all cavaliers, that's what we do. We pass it on to the king. We're his royal arm.
An honor. A scary one.
Right.
Don't be scared. If you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to be worried about. So I'll just be having a look at everything and it'll be fine.
I presume you're not here just to check if there's cobwebs.
Well, no, I'd rather like to see what you're all working on. Old Trades Assembly doesn't really narrow it down.
No, that is the specialty. We have no specialty.
Right.
We sort of spread out and do whatever field of expertise calls to us.
So it'd be like going to a restaurant and it says specials and it's just the entire menu again.
Like a jack of all trades and a master of all trades.
That's good. That should put that at the top of the building.
And what is your trade?
Your lady, I am an architect in training.
An architect. Okay.
See.
Very nice. And you?
Leone.
Leona. I'm Bianca d'Aquila. Sorry, I should have led with that. Cavalier to the crown.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
Go on.
The feather kind of gives it.
Oh, do you like it?
It's fine.
Right, okay. And what do you do?
Clean.
So if anything's not cleaned, I know who to talk to.
No.
Right, you've an interesting sense of humour.
She's from Cajet.
Not from around here. You'll learn soon enough. And you, Arvin, what do you do?
My particular expertise is alchemy.
Alchemy. Oh, right. What is your endeavour with alchemy? It's not very, common, I've heard. Can be a bit explosive.
Yes, only if you do it wrong, which sometimes happens.
Which you have done wrong. She'll get her satchel and ruffle around.
Or when others are trying to sleep.
And get a notebook and quill out. Yes. Oh, God.
I'm an engineer, and I'm going to make a flying machine.
Oh, and
This is Ilio.
Elio.
He's the
I
rising
see.
star in this whole guild. If you need to know anything, he's your man.
An engineer
Yes, apprentice.
and a flying machine.
Yes,
And how would you do that?
with my brain
A good start.
and
Great.
and canvas and well, we need to take into account buoyancy. Air buoyancy. It's a new concept. There's a lot to go into. Anyway, would you like me to talk to you about it anytime? I'd love to talk to you about it anytime. We're making canvas and we're spreading it across. And then, when Celeste is coming in, she's going to be trying at jumping off the roof.
Now, while Elio is
Scribbling, writing notes.
while Bianca's
jumping off the
distracted
roof.
by Elio, I sidle up to Arvin and say, just try and be a bit more discreet. I'm like, I'm sorry, you were saying before our guest arrived.
Yes, we're going to be heading off for basically picking up a shipment.
This is unusual.
Trade routes. It happens occasionally. We're not happy about it.
And you need an architect for this?
No. We need a strong man who can help push something and also look a bit intimidating if someone tries to, pull a fast one on us.
Lorenzo looks a little crestfallen at this. Like, surely if he was valuable as an architect, he'd be kept here to continue his training. But he nods. Whatever is required to keep to maintain my keep. You are coming too?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If it means something to you, Lorenzo, you wouldn't have been asked to do it if you hadn't made a good impression somehow.
I hope so.
This is an expression of trust and to see what you can do.
Well, then I will do my very best.
Good.
And you are testing over here.
I peek or I eyeball over at Bianca and
Bianca, who's just
I'm just leaning over listening to the conversation.
she's heard
No.
everything you said.
No,
Yes,
what are you
we did a roll. Yeah. So she's heard everything that you said. She was doing the classic thing where she's like, to Ilio, but completely
Yeah,
listening to
yeah.
your conversation.
Amazing.
Yeah. Do we lock eyes?
Testing your walking legs in the great land of LUCEVERA.
Off on a trip, are we?
Supply run.
Yes, we need to go pick up a shipment.
Right.
To keep our thriving guild as healthy as it always is.
A shipment that has had some ill befall it sounds like.
Yeah, we don't have details. It's somewhere at a port we need to pick it up.
Don't biggie.
The lack of information basically is what we
You're
don't
not
know.
really selling this.
It's very simple. We don't know why it didn't come. So we need to send someone, and I've been elected, yay, because I am the most senior here.
Then you need to go because
Well,
you're
actually, you're the most senior here with a good back.
still here.
Well, you're in an open plan warehouse. Like when
everyone
you talk,
hear
when you talk loudly, everyone can hear you. There's like two laborers who've just been like cutting wood and like.
Old
Leave me
man
alone.
leans over the balcony. Well,
Leave me
actually.
alone. You know I would love to have you along. The talks we would have would be amazing.
We all know it would end up in me piggybacking you, senor.
Trust me, when Ilio perfects his flying machine, I'll soar over the towns with him. I'll see it all before I get too old.
Right. Well,
And then he mouths like D-I-E, but deliberately so that Ilio can't like see or hear it.
Ah, yes.
Lovely.
Yes. Now, Bianca, tell me in
Bianca.
your position. Apologies.
That's all right.
In your position,
Yes.
how would you handle this?
Well,
A shipment has been delayed in an unknown way.
first of all, I would quite like to put my things down in my room.
What?
And then I could come back and write
Your-
some things.
Your room.
Yes.
Her room.
We did
room?
send a letter ahead. I'll be staying with you for quite a while.
We have vacancies.
do?
Leone, the cleanest room available that is dressed.
Is Emily still here? Is she gone?
Emily's comforting Dolorosa.
The one momento.
Very good.
I disappear.
Okay.
Go find whatever room.
You can
is
find it.
just like,
There's a very dingy, cobweb-filled
I
room.
clean it as fast as I can.
It just doesn't get used. It used to be like a student. It's like a little dorm room for a student and apprentice.
Perhaps a tour of the Old Trades Assembly by a new person who has recently been toured myself with
Yes,
fresh
that
eyes.
would be wonderful, actually. Yes, thank you.
Just only volunteering because I know that Arvin never leaves his room.
Yes.
Bianca.
Yes, what is
Bianca,
it? Oh, goodness.
I had an idea. I thought this shipment everyone's talking so loudly about.
Wonderful, yes?
Well, it sounds like brigands might have got it, or pirates, or worse, bandits, or a dragon.
A dragon.
Something like that, and you're a hero, so maybe you should go help them so they don't get killed.
I don't think it would be anything like that. Surely the Cavaliers would have dealt with it if that were the case.
You are a cavalier, so shouldn't you be dealing with it?
Is he always like this?
Only when I'm
Always.
excited.
Okay.
It's fun.
I'll look
He's
into
fantastic.
it, Elio.
He balances the other rooms in the building, the other moods.
It's
in
all
the
right.
building.
Ilio, it's probably down to a mistake on paperwork. Probably not a dragon. I'm sorry.
I think cavaliers are perfectly good with paperwork or dragons.
I will happily listen to you talk about brigands, though. Has he done anything bad recently?
Brigands?
Yeah, the pirate.
I think he stole our shipment.
Okay. I'll put the book away. Thank you, Elio.
And at this stage, Libero looks across and he's like, all right, he's probably been disruptive enough. And he's like, come, Elio, show me again your plans for the wings. Come. And calls him over.
Right. Well, a tour would be great.
Please follow
you.
me. And I hint at Arvin. I'm like, get upstairs and fix your room.
And I'll as I'm following you, I'll make sure there's no dust on my feather because I've noticed that this area is a
Yeah.
little dusty.
I try and take the routes as best as I can that will deter the path from, slowing her down so that there's a room ready where I think it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
And that Arvin's room is last.
Okay.
But otherwise, take her on a tour through the All Trades Assembly where she sees everyone's form of work and
And the,
I'll
men-
kind
and
of-
the
are
several
you-
empty rooms.
Yeah.
Are you following?
No.
Okay.
Arvin ducks off.
Yes.
Well, I'll have I'll make a little bit of a show of trying to ride with my coil while holding my satchel.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like...
Oh, please, my lady, let me
you,
take this.
Thank you.
So,
Much better.
the King's Guard himself, this is a great honor that you have.
And you immediately know that is technically incorrect, which is the worst kind of incorrect.
The King's Guard.
Because you're not the King's Guard, because that's the House Guard. You're the Cavaliers, which is
Well, you see, it's not quite like that. We're more like they're sent out to do his bidding, rather than
Yes,
just
yes.
standing next to him with spears.
Forgive me, I do not know the intricacies of the politics or structures of the city. I am actually from the Northern Quarries. I've only been in the city
Right.
for under a year looking for this work.
And what brought you here? What kind of work?
Oh, I aspire
Your
to-
architecture, is that it?
Oh, yes, it is available, but I look around so as to not be speaking too loudly that I'm not in the place I would quite want to be. I aspire actually to create works of beauty, art, but a little further beyond my reach, and means. So I work to be an architect, a creation of sorts.
A dreamer, I see.
Well, that has gotten me into trouble, but yes.
Yes, as far as I know, it's doing that gets you places. If I want to climb to the top of a ladder, I'm not going to dream myself up there, am I?
A woman of practicality, and so I have been told much. So I crush my dreams, and
With that
I work
incredible
to
hammer, I see.
So I crashed my dreams.
And I work to contribute, and
Well,
some
that is the
form of-
way.
I sort of sheepishly almost as if to prove that it's not. This isn't like a frivolous pursuit. This is might have meaning, and he sort of like opens up a few pages of his personal drawing books, and he actually has some pretty gorgeous drawings of different places he's seen on the way to the city, and you see some portraiture and
Is it realistic? Is it realism?
It's a mix. It's like it's realism because it's what's in front of him, but you can see there's interpretations of things that flow into flowers and are painted with, whatever berries happen to be lying around when he was sitting on the street, and it's very improvised. And
I don't want to be mean, but I want to slap it shut.
So, just for your perspective, realism, like romantic, realistic portraiture and landscape art, is very highly regarded.
Yeah,
provided it is accurate.
That's why she wants to shut.
Any artistic flair is like the choice of angle you paint at. That's like what makes an artist flair. It's like, oh, he always does like the low angle work. It's not putting in some weird creativity into it.
And I think it's more like it's not really a conscious thing. She kind of sees it. She's like, and like kind of snaps it shut. She's like,
it's like pornography.
yes.
You're right. I'm
Keep
sorry.
that
The tour.
private.
I allowed myself to get distracted and forget myself. This way to the kitchens.
Thank you. And you can tell, like, I don't know if you'd be looking at it, but she's not entirely hostile towards it. But it's kind of like
It's
it
improper.
hits some kind of spot. Yeah.
Totally.
Downstairs, Leona, being separated for a time, is pulled over by Libero, who is now showing you the creation that Leona has been crafting, working sort of secretly, getting a cheeky education with someone, even though she's not a guild member, to create. Would you like to describe to everyone this invention that is being stringed up and prepared for a transport?
Yes. So Leona has been working on secretly plans to make a ballista. And this thing folds up a lot like an easel, and so it's portable, so it sits on her back. But yeah, it folds out into this massive ballista. And I believe to start off with, we're just using good old like javelin style.
So
But they're not called javelins. I can't remember.
Explain this dynamic, because I think this is the first that this is your invention. Is sort of like. So how does this work? Like,
I'll leave it to you to explain if you like.
So it's like it doesn't require a whole lot of power to use. The whole point is
I mean, how
the relationship and the arrangement,
like
not
how
the invention.
you made this.
oh gosh.
Like who made it? Who designed it? Like where?
So Leona is a really good engineer. From her childhood, she's been thinking about making plans and inventing stuff. And where she's from, that's like fine. And so when her parents sent her to LUCEVERA to, get better at it and sort of get an education if she can. So she's been working on it for a really long time. And then when she found the trade hall is where she met Libero, and it's sort of been this sort of secret relationship. But obviously she doesn't have the clout to, and
She's just
she's
employed as a
kid.
Well, the biggest issue is that guilds have a little thing called guild fees.
Yes.
Yeah.
And things in
Tuition
LUCEVERA are a lot
fees.
more expensive than people might think traveling from other countries and coming. And
Yep.
we will deal with that in episodes to come. But the main thing is that Libero has seen her keen mind, her desire to like stay around late after her shift ends, and like she's trying to sort of almost steal an education.
Yeah.
But Libero, being the old grandmaster, he kind of doesn't mind. He enjoys it. He's happy for it. So he's been working on this with you. And here we are. But he's claimed it to be his invention with a wink because that's like it has to be his invention because she isn't a member of the guild.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and how it works, unfolds like an easel.
Yeah. So the thought being that like it's a pretty dang scary and powerful weapon, but that like technically anyone can use it. An 18-year-old can use it. So
Yeah, so it's actually technically sort of more engineering. It is a small siege weapon. It's a in between an arbalest and a ballista by virtue of it being able to unfold and unpack, and it has large bolts. But there's a machinery involved in it in terms of its sort of fold out arms and its fold up nature that is beyond anything that was made in the real world. Makes it quite portable and compactable. And that is your character's skill is Machinist, which is your combat skill, allowing you to use basically war engines and war weapons and intelligence. So it doesn't actually require much physical skill to use. It requires your ability to quickly calculate angles and arcs of fire and all that stuff. So it's actually an intelligence-based combat weapon.
and fix it if it breaks.
And
Well,
fix
how
it
you
if it
tap your
breaks.
head every time you say
Intelligence.
intelligence.
I've got all of that
so you know.
Just so you- well, it's a very visual medium, the
Speed
podcast. All right.
Yeah.
So you're set up with that, and Bianca is being led around.
My little tour.
The one thing I need to know is Bianca planning on tagging along on this little expedition?
She definitely wants to hear more. She wants to know if it's guild business.
Oh, it's guild business.
She's
You
going
know it's guild
to
business.
leverage that badge of hers
Okay.
to oversee, especially when she, Arvin has maybe suggested that some things go wrong, some things explode, and so she wants to keep an eye. Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is because we all want to know what's happening next week when we pick back up with episode 2 of LUCEVERA, and as we thank our patrons that scroll across the screen who literally
you,
allow us to make this.
patrons.
Please consider joining. It really does
Thanks
allow
for
for the
letting us
creation
do
of all
this.
this, and we've been working
Allows
super
for
hard
the
on it.
creation of everything great in a Renaissance.
Yes, it's the most themey patron you could ever be is a patron for LUCEVERA.
If you were ever a patron of anything, surely
It's the
it
arts.
is the fantasy
arts,
role
yeah.
play in a Renaissance world.
That was beautiful.
Please be our patrons.
This has been fun. I hope it's been fun for everyone else.
I have had a blast. You've done a fantastic job. I'm so excited. And I love that at the end of this episode, I feel like we know each other. We know some other fun characters, and we can set out into the world and see a bit more. I want to see so much more of
We'll be
LUCEVERA.
spending a lot of time in El Grano, and we'll be seeing the people in the Old Trades Assembly a lot. But first, we need to find out what the hell happened to that shipment.
Yeah.
Because, something odd's going. And what
Pirates.
was in that shipment that was so sneaky?
Yeah, no one
Yeah.
said.
There's a few
what it is
tight-lipped
specifically.
alchemists in this guild that's being investigated by the Cavaliers of the Crown. So let's find out next week
On LUCEVERA.
LUCEVERA.
in LUCEVERA, the country,
Thanks for watching.
LUCEVERA.
in the region of Fluvialta,
In the world of
in the world of
In the town of
Redactyl.
in the
Great.
in the continent of Omnitia, in the world of Orbis Terrara.
That is so easy to
Flawless.
say.
Terrara.
Bye.